Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm finding out how many bishops I need to defeat the Magnus bot. Also, tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'm going live for the first time ever on this channel, and I'll be playing against viewers. So drop by and challenge me or just say hi. That's tomorrow, January 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't worry, if you're seeing this video in the future, there will be more live streams. For the sake of saying that I did, we'll start with 2 bishops. Go ahead and develop to control the center. I guess that's always a good idea. And we're already in check. All right, on to 3. All right, we're back with 3 bishops, and this is very reminiscent of the rooks video that I just recently did. I have a lot of freedom for my pieces, but there's nobody to defend my king, so I'm just kind of running around, trying not to get, well, mated. All right, on to 4 bishops. I'll be adding the bishops of consistent colors, meaning, for example, if I have 2 light squared bishops, I want 2 dark squared bishops, and so on and so forth. That way, in case it does come down to a bishop checkmate, I say in case, it will come down to a bishop checkmate, I will actually have enough pieces to deliver the mate that I need to deliver. Okay, I need to move my king over. If I block, takes, I drop this bishop, so I have to run, basically. If I run this way, check, I have to move towards the center anyways. So I might as well move towards the center right now. Okay, queen check. Forces me, I'm definitely not walking into it. So I guess, forces me back and then drop the d1 bishop. Yep, drops this guy. Just running around with the king, butt naked, nothing to do about it. Just trying to survive. Miserable situation. How do I get out of this? I move forward, I guess. And checkmate. All right, on to 5 bishops. All right, we're back with 5 bishops. This time I know that he's coming in with queen to h4. He did that last time, so bishop f2. e4 is not just a free pawn. Oh, right, if I take queen e7 pins, I defend my bishop, and then f5, for example, picks up the bishop. So I have to drop back. Check forces a trade, brings the king out. I only have 1 dark squared bishop left. And that's a very real possibility for some of these games. If I drop back, it's mate. That's kind of funny. What I was going to say, it's a very real possibility that I end up with all bishops of 1 color. And then it's impossible for me to deliver mate, at least against the Magnus bot. So I have to be a little bit careful of that in the future. Defend my bishop by dropping it back. Okay, check, pushes me back into the center. Check, skewers my bishop. And I have only bishops of 1 color left. I'll play it out, but I cannot win this anymore. All right, and that's game. Let's move on to 6 bishops. All right, we're back with 6 bishops, probably still losing, but we'll give it a try. First thing I'm going to do is crowd my bishops around my king. And this strategy starts to make more sense, right? If he just throws his pawns at me, eventually one of them has to land, especially these rook pawns. Like we talked about, they have a base of support, so if you just push them and I have nothing in the way, nobody's going to stop them. So I'm trying to protect my king at least this time. Pawns are coming forward. If d4, I pick up this pawn, so I guess I don't have to be afraid of that yet. Let's, I guess, centralize my bishops. Okay, bishop b4 forces a trade, but I can really just hang tight here for a second. Okay, right. What is this? Oh man, takes, and then mate on e1. Wow, that's pretty scary. I guess I have to allow this trade. So I'll make a waiting move. Move my bishop out of the way. Oh my goodness, right? This bishop is pinned. So the queen can dive in, capture on f1 with check. This bishop is as good as gone. And I am fried in this position. There's minimal hope in this position. If I take, I lose the d2 bishop. So I guess I have to move my bishop out of the way. e3, horrendous situation. Yeah, I mean, let's give check because why not? Even check is a victory at this point. All right, we drop back. I guess we're going to lose all of these bishops anyways, so I'll play this out quickly. Wow, no choice but to interpose. And then the queen comes in with mate. All right, moving on to 7 bishops. All right, we're back with 7 bishops. Still not feeling too great. We're still down 18 points of material, but we'll give it our best shot. First, I got to bring these bishops that are on the side towards the center. Somebody's got to protect the king. And wow, this is a very interesting opening. I was kind of expecting him to start developing, maybe develop a queen, but he's just throwing the pawns in our face. Is this not free? Because this isn't a pin anymore. That's why I threw my bishops in the center, right? Before there was queen to e7 pins the bishop. Oh, right, if I take, then check, picks up the bishop. Wow, that's kind of a dirty little trap he just set up there, but it works. I can't target d4, so he's forcing e3 on the next move, or d3, whatever is more convenient for him. I can't develop any more bishops towards the center because of it, and this is actually a problem, because if e3 and I just part my bishop, queen to h4, bishop blocks and then it's mate. So if e3 happens, I have to have an escape square for my king, so I'm going to move this bishop so I can move king to d1 were that to happen. I'm going to play bishop to b3, obviously not bishop c2 because d3. Okay, we're met with e3 anyways. Oh, and I just realized there's nowhere for me to put this bishop. Bishop a5, b6. None of these squares are safe. Okay, I mean, this was going to happen at some point anyways. We'll go ahead and sacrifice the bishop. Okay, develop. We're met with check. He wants to force a trade. If I bring my king out, check. I'm sure that's mate in a couple of moves, so I have to accept the trade. Knight c6 is an interesting way of playing this. Go ahead and pin the knight, why not? Queen to h4 is check, obviously. I'll move my king out of the way, and I think I'm doing all right. What's it going to be? Move out of the way, bishop g4. My pieces are kind of scrambling because it's like I'm not sure whether I should be attacking or defending, but my king is certainly under fire at the moment. Okay, we do get bishop to g4. What happens if I just keep walking the king? Let's find out the hard way, I guess. Okay, bishop to a3. It's interesting, I have so many bishops on the board, but they're still weak squares. For example, in this position, all of these squares are weak because nobody's covering them. King forward is the only legal move. The queen moves back. I'm not super happy because it's weird. It feels like they're coordinated, but at the same time, right, he's getting ready to dive into b2. Only way to defend that is bishop to c1, but that clears up the b4 square, so the knight goes to b4. And I wonder if this is what Martin feels like when he's playing against me, because this is horrendous. Okay, what about bishop c3? Let's try that. Bishop c3. Okay, he finds a different weak square to target. Incredible. This bishop is hanging, so I guess bishop d2, so that if check, I still have king to d3. I mean, it looks horrible, right? This bishop drops, but at this point, I'm just defending against checkmate. So we'll play that. Bishop back. There's the check. Okay, he picks up this bishop instead. Ouch, skewering my whole position. Oh, and if I move my king back, bishop d1 is mate. I have no choice but to march forth into the center. Mate on f3. All right, moving on to 8 bishops. All right, we're back with 8 bishops, still down 15 points of material. Still, frankly, a little bit down in morale, but we're going to try our best. First thing I'm going to do is cocoon my king, because I am not getting bombarded anymore. Did he actually just castle? This is like an extremely normal opening. That's so funny. Normal opening and castles, and then there's me cocooning with my bishops. I really don't have a choice here, though. So I've cocooned with my bishops. I'm curious to see how he's going to break through. It's kind of like with pawn hordes. As I started adding pawns, he started playing more conservatively. But I'm still down so much material that I doubt that I have an advantage yet. So I'm just going to hang tight for a little bit, try not to give away any free bishops. Okay, he forces a trade. I'll drop back, sure. Okay, he doesn't even take the trade that he set up, so I'll start with a little bit of pressure. Make a battery and target h7. Okay, f5 easily blocks it. There's ideas of f4, e4. There's ideas of anything here. I also just noticed, is this my first triple battery? It's not pointing at anything, but it's there, so that's kind of good, I guess. Go ahead and finish my fortress. Beautiful little fortress I had there. Looks like a spaceship. I'll take. Obviously, he's going to engulf the center. I have no way to stop him from doing that, so I just retreat as he does that. Let's offer a trade. Okay, he rejects it. b5, throwing his pawns in my face. More pawns in my face. What am I going to do about it? Nothing. Sit here and wait to get destroyed. Okay, he's advancing. Right, he can just get away with promotion now. I can't allow it. Okay, he's offering a trade. Right, if I capture and he recaptures, game over. So I'll reinforce the bishop. a2, I have to sack. I can't let him get a queen. And I'm just like hanging on for, I'm hanging on for dear life here at this point. If I move my bishop, we get e3. Everything's under fire. Terrible situation. Magnus doesn't blunder, I guess. Okay, we'll take on h4, intermediate move. Man, that's ridiculous. That's actually insane. I was expecting him to recapture with check, and then I could drop bishop to f2, and we kind of hold on to the cocoon for a second. Instead, he takes on e3. If I take the queen, pawn takes his checkmate. And it's so beautiful that I'm almost tempted to let him have it. I mean, he's going to have me anyways, right? If I take here, check, bishop drops back, f2. So lesser of the two evils. I'll take the queen and allow that beautiful pawn checkmate. I mean, look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's move on to 9 pawns. What is happening to me? I just keep saying the wrong piece. It's never the right piece. Not 9 pawns, 9 bishops. I guess I feel like I'm playing with pawns because they're really not doing much for me. We're still down 12 points of material. And to be honest, the strategy hasn't changed whatsoever. I need to just hold on to this position as tight as possible and basically hope for the best. We'll maneuver our pieces a little bit so they're all in front of the king. Okay, he's threatening now d4 and d4. I don't think I have a way to stop both of them, so I'm going to lean into it and just sacrifice when it does happen. Oh wow, he didn't even play e4. My sacrifice was too intimidating. Incredible. All right, bishop back. d4 traps, oh. Right, h6 stops bishop g5. So instead of playing e4 and letting me sack a bishop for 2 pawns, d4. Although I guess I can still sack a bishop for 2 pawns, so I'm not really sure I completely understood that. I guess these bishops are worth more to him because they weaken this diagonal. So, right, this knight can move absolutely anywhere, and then queen to h4 is checkmate. I guess, makes perfect sense. So we'll play bishop e3, have somebody to reinforce, bishop back. We're really just holding on here. Knight to e5 offers a trade, which I'm not particularly interested in, so... Oh, and I can't even drop back because queen to a5, bishop blocks, and mate. Never mind, I may be more interested than I first thought in this trade. Okay, knight to e5 offers a trade, which I'm not really interested in, so I'll drop back. Rook to e8, right? What am I going to do? Castle out of it? Definitely not. So, I cocoon even harder than last time. More cocooning. What could go wrong? Knight to g4, obviously trying to break down my fortress. I really don't have a choice but to move this e3 bishop. So I'll move it to d4. Okay, cool. Oh, right. So problem is that bishop is under attack. It defends f2 and it defends d2. So bishop c3 is the only move, and mate. All right, moving on to 10 bishops. This is just like real life. You can solve all your problems by adding more bishops. So we have 10 bishops. We're still down 9 points of material. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to need to at least break even. At least to break even if I want to stand a fighting chance here. But I'm feeling better because I have more bishops. What is that? I was going to say I'm feeling better because I have more bishops, and inevitably I'm going to have to sacrifice at some point, especially with these pawns moving forward. But I had to pause to admire, or in question, I guess, king to f7, because I'm not really sure why the bot would play that. I'm sure I'm going to find out quickly and regret saying anything mean about it, but in the meantime, that is the silliest move I've ever seen from Magnus. So I'm cocooning, I'm doing fine. He's continuing with regular development, well, minus the fact that he's not going to castle, and I'm just going to hang tight for a moment. e5, okay, starts pushing, and frankly, I'm ready to sacrifice a bishop for 2 pawns, so that's not too surprising. Oh wow, he's not even going to allow me to sacrifice a bishop. d4 traps this bishop outright, so I have to clear the way. Queen to d6. He's playing very strangely. I've checked now 3 times that I'm actually playing against the Magnus bot because this is some suspicious play right here. Queen to d6 pins the bishop to the pawn, so e4 isn't possible anymore. He's taking away his own choices. I feel like the more natural move is like f5, push the pawns, yada yada. So I will hold tight and hang back for a moment. Bishop e6, sure. g6, very slow progress. But to be fair, I don't have a way to break through, so I can't be talking too much trash anyways. I'm going to hang tight here for a moment. c4, probably looking for d4, c3, which just annihilates my position, so I'll drop back this bishop. He continues his development. Okay, rook to d8. I mean, he's playing slow, but what am I going to do about it? It's not like I'm in a rush to play anything specific. Okay, I'd like to actually start making my way over with my king because it's clear that this is where the pieces are coming from, so I'm going to start scooting my king over. Oh, and in the process, I stopped this bishop from moving back. So d3 now is almost forced. Bishop b1 gets out of the fork, but now it's a trap piece problem. It's not even a fork problem anymore. If I play bishop here, can I just sacrifice? Let's see, d3 takes. And I guess he has the option to sack, but at least I make a little trick here. Bishop e4, f5 is probably coming. I take, he recaptures. and I'm probably back at square one, but I have to try something. Oh, he allows me to sack. Interesting. So he allows the sacrifice, which I'm pretty happy with, to be honest. Okay, c1 is kind of under fire, right? I can't take the knight because this drops the bishop, so I might just reinforce this bishop with bishop e2. Okay, he jumps in with knight to b3. Now this bishop is definitely under fire, and I will reinforce it with a triple battery. f5, there it is. Kind of a problematic move. I'll try to get out of the way with tempo, bishop to b7. Problem is, if I disconnect my bishops too much, any pawn move kind of cuts off my whole bishop strategy. So I'll drop back with the bishop. Okay, bishop to f6. It's really hard to keep track of who's defending who, but I'm doing my best here. Bring back more bishops. Okay, we'll recapture, not an issue. f4, we drop back. Knight to f5. He's finally starting to thin out my defenses, so I will trade here. I'm really not interested in having that knight dive into my position. He recaptures with the bishop. I'm already running out of moves. It's not clear what I'm supposed to play here, so I'm kind of just holding tight. Okay, maybe he's not clear either. I would love for this to get to a point where the bot sees how it's draw, and I don't. So I weasel out a draw, and I'm hoping that we're closer to that than I think. Rook to c2. Okay, hanging tight. Okay, he's going to force me to move the bishop. And if I move this bishop, then he's probably going to sacrifice on d2. But I'm going to make him do it. Okay, he does sacrifice, dives in, probably looking for this weak back rank. Not sure how I'm supposed to reinforce. Maybe bishop e1. At least covers the back rank. I can move this bishop. This bishop's protected by the bishop on e2. How many times have I said bishop today? More than I'm supposed to, probably. All right, we'll move it. The bishop, that is. e4 threatens f3. I don't know, bishop c4. Hits the rook, gets me out of the fork. It's good enough, I guess. This bishop is now pinned. I'm sure bishop h4 is incoming. I'll get some of this pressure off this bishop at least. What is this, f3? Ooh, f3, bishop h4, queen g3, disgusting. If I move the bishop back, what, queen h2? Cry? Like, what am I supposed to do here? I guess that's the only move. Okay, check. I'm sure there's forced mate here. Oh yeah, here, queen g3 because this is pinned, block, and then it's all over. Oh, not even, it's mate in one. All right, we're moving on to 11 bishops. All right, we're back with 11 bishops. I was gonna say I need to cocoon, but to be fair, I already have a cocoon. So it might be time to start playing some offense. I'll play bishop to b2, threatening g7. Obviously we're met with knight to f6. We'll do the same thing on the queen side. Okay, d5. Now I just need to start putting some pressure on the position. Bishop f3, triple battery, force c6, weaken the dark squares, activate the dark squared bishops, etc., etc. Seems like a decent plan. e6. Okay, weakens this now. So bishop d4. What are you going to do about that? Knight to d7? Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense, I guess. How about bishop to g5? More pressure. Okay, bishop to e7, more defense. I'm running short on bishops here. What am I supposed to do here? Probably realize that I'm playing with Magnus. That's probably what I'm supposed to do. We'll drop the bishop back to make room for another bishop. Okay, c5 starts controlling the center. Bishop a4, let's pin one of the pieces that's defending the knight. Okay, and then d4 cuts off the pressure altogether. That's fair enough. But it unleashes this again, which is amusing. I'll move my bishop back. We get castles. Is that mine? Mine for the taking? I think it is. Thank you. No, thank you. Okay, he plays rook to b8. Can I just kick you? I'm gonna try. Okay, e4 seizes the center, and I'm not particularly happy that these bishops are basically lifeless now. So I might be looking at a sacrifice some point in the near future. Let's play bishop f3. Activate this bishop and start controlling these weak light squares. Because obviously if he's going to take over the dark squares, the least I can do is try to take over the light squares. So we'll play bishop c6. Doubling down on that plan. Or I guess quadrupling down on that plan. I guess. All right, knight to d7. This knight is pinned. Can I do anything about that? I'd love to. How about bishop g3, bishop h4? Because I've done a decent job of holding onto these light squares. I guess this guy's not doing all that much, but he's in the right spirits. He's in the right headspace. This knight might be looking for knight to c4, but that could be trading off these bad bishops, so doesn't seem that bad. I'll play bishop g3. Ah, he's finally kicking my bishop. Okay, he's going to force me to trade, because if I play the bishop back to h4, g5, and then I could sacrifice. Takes. Looks really interesting. Bishop c1. That's not as bad as it looks. What if I take now? He recaptures. This rook is just trapped. Gimme. Okay, knight to c4 will reinforce these bishops. Okay, he takes back. I'll recapture. Oh, have we left our king too exposed? Queen to a5 is check, drops this bishop. I think I can just move out of the way for now. Oh, that's disgusting. Okay, he takes on a1. I guess winning the exchange didn't do diddly squat if I lost a full bishop in the process. Okay, what if I just move this bishop to d3? I hit the knight, and this bishop defends c1. So how bad can that be? Okay, oh, that's pretty bad actually. Knight to e3 check. I can only take with this bishop. Recaptures king to e2. Really not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's not like I have much of a choice. That knight is an animal sitting there. Oh, and there's no one defending this bishop. Wow, this is disgusting. I feel like intuitively as a chess player, you get used to having certain things like rooks defending the back rank, and I don't know, pawns covering your king. And when all of that is stripped away, even if you try to play intuitively, you end up having to raw calculate everything. Because now this bishop is gone. Like, completely. There's no way for me to do anything about that. So I guess we're on the run now. Just get out of town, basically. Threatening check, horrendous. The best I can do is walk away with a quintuple battery and say that I did something, right? Quintuple battery, and then check, I drop back, lose the bishop. All right, I'm gonna move my king forward. Did he just sacrifice the queen? I can't just take? I'm gonna take. What's up? What's up with this? I take? Free queen? King moves out of the way. Oh, rook to h5. Dude, Magnus has the most creative checkmates I've ever seen. That was, hold on, let's take a moment to appreciate that. That was ridiculous. We get, okay, we get king to h4. Probably not the best move in the world, but we're running for our dear lives anyways. Queen sacrifice removes the bishop that defends h5. And the vision here is if check, king here is forced. And if we could just move rook to h5, that would be mate. Who's defending h5? The bishop. What else is he doing so we can distract him? Oh, he's defending this guy, and we can take with check. Recaptures, check, and we land on h5 with mate. I say we. He lands on h5 and checkmates me. All right, let's move on to, what is this now? All right, let's move on to 12 bishops. All right, we're back with 12 bishops, and my power is immense. Because now I have a pre-made battery staring at b7, which wins a rook. So, without further ado, give me my well-deserved rook. Maybe not well-deserved. d5. Can I take? You play here, takes, check. I still win the rook. Is that a distraction? Should I just take this free rook anyways? I don't think it is. I think that's just a bad move. I'm going to take on d5. Okay, e6, sure. I can just move back, I think. I could also move in with check. Takes, but then bishop d7, and he has a way to recapture. So I'm just going to scoot back. Actually, maybe I should move all the way back to h1. Yeah, that way I have a way to play bishop g2, but he takes anyways. Okay, he finds a way to defend, fair enough. We'll go ahead and take the rook and take this free pawn. Free pawns, I love free pawns. They don't always work out in my favor, sometimes they're poisoned, but it doesn't change how I feel about them. We'll play bishop to c3. Knight to d5, put some pressure on the bishop. Not that I'm probably supposed to be very concerned about it, but I'll form a battery to defend this bishop anyways. We get pawn to c6. And let's see. I'm not happy about this bishop all by himself, so we'll move him back to f2. Okay, h5. The pawns start to walk forward, so I need to start taking care of these pawns. What about bishop takes g7? Looks decent enough to me. I win a free pawn. Okay, I'll take back. Rook to g8. It's not really a skewer because this bishop is defended, so I just need to move my bishop on g7. Unsafe. d4 is an option. So let me do it in a different color. d4 is an option, h6 is an option, before I start confusing safe and unsafe squares. This is unsafe, safe. All right, blue are my actual safe squares. And this pawn isn't really a concern right now because this bishop covers it, so I guess I'll just move it back to the center. Usually the best sort of neutral idea. E5, I'll move back again, sure. Queen to D8. I'd love to target this pawn. Oh wait, I am targeting this pawn. It's crazy how, like, you're just so used to thinking of your position in a certain intuitive way that it's hard to see. Like, I was thinking, okay, I have all these bishops connected, and somehow I was just not registering that right behind it there were plenty of bishops to work with. So I'm taking this pawn. Queen to C7. I need to start thinking more concretely about the position. If I think too abstractly, I miss really easy low-level stuff. So queen to C7. This bishop is off by himself, and there's no other free pieces that I can take. So I'm returning him to home base. Rook to H8. How can I start putting some pressure on his position? I might need to start just looking for trades as well here. So like bishop to A2, probably perfectly reasonable. I have a healthy mix of dark squared and light squared bishops, so that's not a concern either. So let's play that, bishop to A2. Knight to F6 allows a trade, sure. I'm happy with a trade. And we can offer another trade now with bishop to C4. I have the same number of light and dark squared bishops now. Okay, he accepts the trade, we'll take it. And my king is very nicely cocooned. I don't believe he has enough pieces to actually break through, so we just have to not mess this up. What about bishop C5 check? Give me that. King to G7, bishop C3, D4, I sack, takes, skewer. So we can put some pressure on this pawn with bishop C3. Okay, rook to E8 defends it. Obviously he realizes that he can't push, or rather, maybe he can push now, because if takes, it's discovered check. So I'll play bishop to E2 so that it's not discovered check. D4? Oh, and it's also not a skewer, but it should still be winning. I still have, what do I have right now? Ooh, never mind. I have 4 points of material extra, which is not, not particularly uplifting, but I guess nothing should really change. I'll take with check. Okay, king goes back to F8. We'll check again. King goes to G8. Not really happy with my king's position, but I guess he's okay. These dark squares are a little bit weaker than I'd like them to be. Maybe bishop to B4, but I don't want to play passive either. I will say this triple battery here is excessive. So how about bishop to E3? If check, bishop to F2. Also kind of questionable. Okay, let's play bishop to E3 now. Okay, queen C3 check, we block. Okay, so we've warded off any kind of attack. Question is, how do I actually make progress here? I wonder if now I can do something like what I did in the rook video, where I started to move my king towards the corner of the board, where he's generally safer. I mean, there's a reason that the castling move was invented. It's just a good idea to put your king on the side of the board, so he's not where the main battle will be, but it also feels a little counterproductive at this stage in the game. Let's play bishop to D3 now, just kind of stacking defenders on my king. We get rook to D8. Maybe an opportunity will arise. How about, I don't think any opportunities will arise. I'm going to start moving my king towards the side. Okay, we get queen to A1. We have to be careful with pins here because it can get a little bit tricky. I'll play my bishop back. Okay, he sacrifices on D3. I will recap. Oh, that's right. Recaptures takes. I still feel pretty good about that. He's not going to mate me. The only issue is that I only have one light squared bishop now, which I just realized I didn't keep in mind. Okay, and the question is, how do I make progress in this position? I've made it hard on myself allowing rook takes D3. Let's just play bishop to E3 here. Everybody's defended by the king. These two bishops defend each other, so it should be fine. This pawn is going to be a little bit annoying, so I have to be careful with how I approach this position. It's not clear how I'm supposed to actually move forward, though. He's obviously going to just try to move this pawn little by little, and I'm probably going to have to sacrifice at some point to stop him. It'd be a real shame if I lost this. I'm not going to deny that for a moment. So what if I just sacrifice this bishop now? Okay, he's going to move it to a light square. Fair enough. I'll move the bishop back, sack the bishop, block, and he's going to have to work pretty hard here to checkmate me, I believe. So we'll make this as much of a headache as possible for him. Bishop G3. Okay, pins the bishop. I have to go back and defend. Can I play check here? No, I'll hit the queen instead. Okay, bishop F2. I'm just going to make it a nightmare for him. So I wonder if there's any way for him to actually break through. Can I slowly walk my king over? I think I can. Okay, we set up this pin. Check. Counter check, I guess. King to h2. Looking for bishop h3, obviously. We'll play check. Check. Another check. Cocoon a little bit. Check again. Okay, we might have to 50 move rule this. Because I'm not sure how he's going to make progress, and I'm not sure how I'm going to make progress either. Okay, we get a draw by repetition, which is fine, I guess. I think we were doing okay during that game, so let's move on to 13 bishops. All right, we're back with 13 bishops, and I'm feeling extremely optimistic for this game, because last time we came pretty close, I think, to being better. So now, armed with 2 double batteries, I just get the luxury of picking which one do I want to capture with. And I think I'm going to capture towards the king side first. It just seems like I have queen side bishops, I have more of those, and obviously the king side is weaker because it's where the king is. So, bishop takes, give me my rook, let's force a trade. Feeling pretty good so far. I've lost 1 dark squared bishop. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dark squared bishops, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 light squared bishops. Okay, so we're going to work more with the light squared bishops. I'm going to be honest, I'm very tempted to sacrifice here. I don't think it's necessary, but it will be at some point, especially if his plan is just to kind of cocoon. So, sacrifice. I'll take on d5. Knight comes to f6. Should I trade? I think I should. I'm going to trade. And I will drop this bishop back to e4. I'm happy to trade light squared pieces. Light squared bishops. I only have bishops, so when I say pieces, I mean bishops. Is that free? Yes, I think. I hope. I'm taking it. Okay, rook to b8. I'll drop the bishop back. Okay, I will accept a light squared trade, and I can take on a7 now as well. Okay, rook comes to c8. I don't think that that's an actual threat, so bishop comes back. Queen to c7. Let's offer a trade on e4. Bishop to e4. Okay, he accepts the trade. I mean, we just have so many bishops left over. Let me take this pawn in the meantime. Drop the bishop back. Okay, rook comes to h8, which is weird because it feels like it allows this, but we get to e5. Okay, so it's not that great, I guess. We'll play bishop b2. This bishop isn't doing much of anything. Okay, we get bishop to f6. I'll stack my attackers. Okay, rook to e8. Can I stack more attackers and force this to happen? Honestly, I probably can. I don't think there's a way for him to stop that. Okay, well, obviously he can assign a rook to defend a pawn that's defended by another pawn. Not often you see that in chess, but is this even chess? We'll go ahead and play about bishop to e3, and I start moving my king towards the center. Or bishop to f3, challenge where the queen is. Okay, the queen moves back, bishop to e3. I can actually fight for the center now because I have enough pieces. Okay, check, I guess. King to d2. Okay, this bishop is very safe. What about bishop g5? Takes, 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 takes. And I think I have enough pieces to be winning too. So, bishop g5, let's give it a try. King to f7? That doesn't look like it's enough. Takes, takes, takes. Crushing, probably. Queen to f4 check. I just skedaddle over 1 square. Give me that. Oh, he doesn't even take back. That's so interesting. What about bishop check? King moves back. It almost feels like there's checkmate there soon. King here, or bishop here, sorry. Queen to f4 check, bishop back. Looks pretty good. We'll play check. Stack my bishops. We do get check. I'll block. Bishop comes, or I'm so used to saying bishop, it's actually killing me inside a little bit. Queen goes back. Check. Forces a queen sack. I recapture. King takes, that has to be winning. Check. Give me your queen. King recaptures. And how do I actually win this? Why don't I just do it again? It worked one time. Check. I only have 2 light squared bishops to work with. Okay, we're going to start using these dark squared bishops because I have plenty to spare. And I can even start walking up with my king, which is quite funny, actually. I can walk up with my king. I'll do this the safe and kind of boring way. That is a sacrifice. Why would you do that? Did I just blunder stalemate? Takes. Oh my goodness, it's stalemate if I take back. Holy moly, that's actually so clever. Wow, if I take back, is that really stalemate? This is blocked, that's blocked, that's... Wow, I have to block. And I lose the other bishop. Oh, why did I play that? Wow, that's such a good way to play that. Force me to stalemate you. Okay, bishop goes back. We're going to have to alleviate some of this pressure. I think we're still winning. As long as I don't lose this bishop, I think we're still winning. We should be fine, I think. I hope. I pray. Let's see. Let's think about this. That's probably a good place to start. Bishop here. And I'd like to walk my king towards his king. Seems sound enough. Okay, rook is making its way around, I'm sure, to try to target this bishop, but I can always move away. So that's not a huge problem for me. I'll move my bishop back. Okay, king to e8, bishop to f6. I can't play king to e5 right away because this is a pin, so I'll play bishop f3 first. Okay, rook to a5 stops king to e5, but now we can play bishop e7, bishop c5. Okay, we're going to have to force this to work, so king to e5, rook to h2. I have too many bishops on the board for that to make sense. Can I just take and then find... Let's see, takes. What do I play then? Check, king here. Check, king here. Check, king gets away. Okay, so I can't just give away the bishop quite yet, although that would be pretty spectacular. Instead, what about bishop to f2? Allows rook to h6, which I don't want, so bishop to g5. Rook here, fork, looks pretty good. Okay, king moves to d7. Bishop to g4, can he defend this? No. So I will attack it with my bishop. Okay, I take with check. Okay, this has to be crushing at this point. Let's see, how do I actually win this? I can't lose this bishop still. So, I'm going to move my bishop to e7. He's threatening quote-unquote check, but I can block. So how about I play check instead? I'll move my king towards his king. And eventually I can suffocate him, I think. I just have to make sure that I don't stalemate him by accident. So if I play check, king c4. It's funny, I don't think this is actually that different from how you're supposed to mate. So here's my plan. I'm going to build my center up really quickly. Try to make it as solid as possible. Okay, we get check. Move over. Oh, he's cut my king off. Okay. I have to bring my king back over. Okay, let's do that. And this isn't that different from how you would do it if you were trying to mate. So let's see. Bishop c5. No. Okay, we'll drop the bishop back to the center. Check. I can move the king to d5 now. Okay, now we start moving the king over. Nice. Bishop d3. Okay, rook to a8. I don't think is doing anything, so check. Forces the king over. Nice. King to e4. Check. I block in the center. Okay, the rook goes back, and I don't think it threatens anything, so... I need my king here now, but that begs the question, where do I put this bishop? On b1 maybe? If I put the bishop on b1 now, king c4. Oh, this is such a nasty position. Okay, what about king d5? There's no way to check me, and then I can play bishop c4, so let's try that. Ooh, rook to g8 is interesting. They're on the same diagonal now. We'll play check. King moves down. King e4 now. Okay, obviously threatens the bishop. Bishop d5. Okay, rook goes to b8. I wonder if it's possible to play enough moves where Magnus blunders, or if he's, just by being 2800, he's like not allowed to make substantial blunders. Question I've had on my mind. All right, let's threaten the rook. Rook to e8. Let's play, I need to move this king somehow. What about bishop c6 and then bishop a4? I hit the rook, it can't stop me on a8, and I force the king back. So let's try that. Check. The king moves back. Okay, now careful not to stalemate him, because that would end everything quite quickly. King d3. Okay, the rook moves to h7. Let's see. Check. King here walks into mate. Check, king here. King c4, rook c7 isn't safe. And there should be mate there somewhere. I might have to actually move these bishops off this diagonal if I want to get checkmate. So I'm going to play my bishop to b4. And I'm looking for bishop to a3. Oh, check. Okay, I have to block. Okay, hits the other bishop. Bishop to f4, and then I have all my bishops off that diagonal. Okay, and then how do I actually do this now? If I play king here... Okay, what about bishop b3 now? Let's do that. Bishop b3. Okay, he targets the a3 bishop, but I can just move it to c1, it looks like. Check. Can I just cover on d4? If he sacrifices, I take back, and he's still stuck here, so that should be fine. Okay, rook to a8. This is so tricky, but it's invigorating at the same time. Let's see. Okay, I think the idea here now is bishop to d1. I'm just going to make it simple for myself by starting with bishop to d1. Okay, king goes to a2, and as you can see, the bishop cuts off the king from escaping. And the only issue is that I'm targeting the square that I want him to land on. So, I need to block this diagonal. Holy moly. I need to block this file with a bishop so that my king can sit on c2. Oh, but then my bishop would need to go on b3 to block the other square. Because the final setup here, I think is the king in the corner, light squared bishop covers a2, king covers b1, and then these bishops serve to cover my king. That's a lot trickier to set up than it might seem. Okay, we'll start with making a waiting move, to be honest. Let's move the king over. Okay, we're closer. This rook obviously covers this square, so we'll block with the bishop. Check, we'll block with the other bishop. Okay, careful now, because rook to h1 is the idea, so check. Pushes the king back. Bishop to g1 could always block that, so that's good. We'll play check. Defend this bishop. Oh, and he stops me from playing check here. Bishop d2. Okay, check. We bring the other bishop back. Check. And now, problem is he can keep buying tempos with the rook. This is actually ridiculous. Check. King moves back. Man, I might have to draw this one unless I can find a way to win that rook. I just don't see a way through. It is frustrating. I just don't see what my breakthrough is here. Block with the bishop. Rook to h2. Really just buying tempo at this point. That's hilarious. Rook to b2. And if I take, it's stalemate. So what about check here? Take with check. Wait, is that not just winning? Oh, check king to a2. Yeah, for sure. Check king to a2, and I still can't take that rook. That's actually ridiculous. Can I play like... I need to play like a funny move here to stop that from working. Bishop to a3. I guess the rook just moves anywhere at that point. Oh, that's so frustrating, and the king can't get close enough. Okay, we're taking the draw on this one. I'll take, and let's move on to 14 bishops. All right, we're back with 14 bishops, and my plan hasn't changed at all, so let's dive right into it. Give me all my pieces. Force that trade. I have to sacrifice at some point, but now he's actually defended twice, so I'll stack an extra bishop onto that attack. I'll take a trade wherever I can see it. A bishop for 2 pawns is worth it when you have this many bishops, and I just have to make sure I don't give away any free pieces, so is that free? I think so. Gimme. Gimme, gimme. This bishop is hanging, so I'll bring it towards the center first, and obviously b6 isn't possible because that drops the rook. So bishop towards the center, queen to e7, sure, I drop back. Knight to f6, I take trades where I can see them. I just have to make sure I have the same number of dark squared bishops as I do light squared, which I do at the moment. So bring more pieces towards the center. Sure, I'll drop back if you make me. Okay, check. Bishop to f2. Queen goes back, bishop towards the center. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, stack some attackers. Sacrifice, you can't take back because it's a fork on the queen and the king. So queen to g7, bishop back. I don't want to say the word bishop for at least 2 weeks after this. Queen to h8. Let's see. Bishops towards the center, or I can just sack. Let's sack bishops. Usually going to work. Yep, we'll get that trade. We'll get that pin. I will take. King recaptures. I'm sure there's a forcing variation here. Let's start with check. Let's also do check. And while we're at it, oh, I only have 2 light square bishops left, but that's okay. That's enough. Check again. King moves back. You're cut off here. Whoa, that's not how bishops work. You're cut off here. You're cut off here. But you're actually hanging in there. So what about bishop c6? Tie these 2 bishops together since I'm going to need them. He threatens f5. Just shuffle my king out of the way. I'm not really interested in that. Queen to e6. How bold. He puts them on the same diagonal, but he knows that I can't pin them, so it's not worth anything to me. Let's see. I want to start marching forward with my king. So I need a little powerhouse of bishops to defend me. Let's go ahead and get that set up. Okay, check. I march forward. All of my bishops are connected, so I should be fine. Yep. Everybody's connected. So we will march forward. Yep, so far so good. And I'm just scanning constantly to make sure that all of my bishops are connected to one another, which they are. So I should be good. Okay, we're approaching the king boldly. Let's go ahead and start cutting off the squares he can move to. He still has a pawn, which is going to be an issue for him. Because it means he doesn't have a way to run out of squares, which is great news for me. Let's move the king forward. Okay, he's trying to force a way to run out of squares. I'm going to take here. Check. I can just block. Check again. Can I just move over? Yes, I can move over. Okay, queen to e7. This has to be winning somehow. How do I win this? Check. King to d7. I don't like that. Okay, what about bishop c5? Queen to e2. Ugh, disgusting find. But it works, so good for him. Move the king over. Okay, king to b8. Let's give check. King moves back. So I have these squares covered. Okay, what about king b4? No, walks into this check. Okay, I'm going to reconnect the bishop. Oh, but I can't leave him in stalemate. Okay, I need to move this bishop back. Okay, he moves back to b8. Sure, fine. I'm going to move king to b4 because I need to reroute this bishop to a6. Okay, we get check. We'll block. Queen sacrifice. It's not stalemate. Okay, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I only have 1 light squared bishop left to work with, but I'm not that bad of a player, I don't think. Let's see, how do I actually mate this? Check. King here? No. Ugh. Nasty. Oh, and this is super sick. Okay, so I have to cover c8, but I don't want to do it with this bishop because I'm going to let him get away at some point if I do. Like check here, complicates my life. But what I can do is anticipate king to b8 is the only move. So let's say bishop g3, king moves here, and then move my king to cover c8. Bada bing, bada boom, checkmate. All right, it only took us 14 bishops only, I say, to defeat the Magnus bot. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And don't forget, I'll see you guys at the live stream tomorrow. See you in the next one.